For thousands of people across Britain, someone is missing from their lives.
It isn't a day that goes by that I don't think of her.
Major mystery for me is who is he, where is he, and what he turned into.
I want to know, does he want to be part of my life? Does he want to get to know his daughter?
But all too often, years of searching lead nowhere. Well, this is the series that steps in to help, offering a last chance to people desperate to find long-lost family.
This has been a long road.
We have found your mum.
Really? I don't feel like I can breathe.
Our searchers have uncovered family secrets and taken us all over the world, finding people that no one else has been able to trace.
2 walks in a park, 2 different families.
Yeah.
And one incredible story.
So all this time, she thought, he doesn't want to know me. You've been searching for each other.
And finally, answering the questions that have haunted entire lives.
I don't know if you can understand what that means.
This time we search for 2 lost boys. One born to a 16-year-old schoolgirl who kept her pregnancy secret until she went into labour.
The actual decision I made in my head to have him adopted was while I was on the table giving birth to him.
And the other, the little brother of a girl who last saw him being taken away by a mysterious couple called Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
He may not even know that he has a sister.
Our first search is on behalf of a woman from London who spent the last 30 years looking for her long-lost brother.
Jeannie Elgar grew up in post-war London in the late 1940s with her little brother Geoffrey.
Geoffrey was a really lovely-looking boy. He had fair, curly hair and blue eyes and very angelic-looking, which I don't think he was all the time, but from what I remember, he was quite funny, and I think he was very loving, and I loved him.
Jeannie and Geoffrey lived with their single mother in a small rented flat. Back in the late 1940s, Britain was still recovering from the war. There was little state provision to fall back on, and life was hard.
She was under a lot of stress because obviously she was working. There was no father providing for us and no extra money coming in. There wasn't the financial help that there is nowadays for parents, and I think she found the financial strain too much.
Everything was to change one day. When Jeannie was 8 and Geoffrey was 4, a couple who called themselves Mr. and Mrs. Smith knocked on the door.
I can still see in my mind's eye the couple. We only had 2 rooms in the house, and in the little sort of sitting room, I remember sitting with my mother, and I remember Mrs. Smith asked me if I would ever leave my mother, and I sort of shrank back towards my mother and said, no, I wouldn't. And I don't remember exactly Geoffrey going out of the door. I don't know if I kissed him goodbye, even.
What 8-year-old Jeannie couldn't have understood is that Geoffrey had been adopted. A few months later, her mother received a letter from Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
I don't remember what they said, except I think that they indicated that Geoffrey was fine during the day, but that at night he was calling for his Jeannie.
The letter had been sent from HMS Orion, bound for the Pacific island of Fiji. It was the last Jeannie ever heard of her brother. 60 years on, Jeannie's happily married with a large family of her own.
Well, the question is, Carver or Bucks Fizz?
Oh, Bucks Fizz, please.
But she's never stopped wondering what happened to her brother Geoffrey. She even named her youngest son after him.
It's a constant reminder of her lost brother and the uncle I never knew. Being in the dark and not knowing what has happened to Jeffrey is the worst part for her because she wants to know warts and all what's happened.
I imagine him to be tall, and I still see the fair hair, but I suppose now it must be grey.
When Jeannie first started searching for her brother 30 years ago, she'd almost nothing to go on. She wasn't even sure if the couple who adopted him were really called Smith.
60 years has gone by since he went, and he could be dead. I don't know, he could be anywhere. He could be in the next street and I wouldn't know, and I don't know what he looks like.
Even with so little information, Jeannie continued her search undaunted. Then 2 years ago, she had a breakthrough when she found the passenger records for HMS Orion, dating from 1950. They confirmed that the couple who adopted Jeffrey had indeed been called Smith.
Mr. Smith, the man who adopted Jeffrey, and I noticed that he was 41, so a little bit younger than his wife at 44.
And there was another unexpected piece of information.
They also had adopted another baby boy who was 6 months old. His name was Welch, and it says Master R.
But despite the discovery of this crucial document, Jeannie had no idea how to take the search further.
I don't know what else to do. He may not even know that he has a sister. So for him to know that he has a sister who's missed him would be good.
This seemed like an impossible search. It dated back over 50 years. We were trying to trace a Mr. and Mrs. Smith, who have the most common surname in the English language, and trying to search for a boy that was last heard of boarding a boat to the other side of the world. Nikki Campbell takes up the story.
The only trace that Jeannie could find of Jeffrey showed that in 1950 he was on board a ship bound for Fiji via Australia. However, a trace of the Fijian and Australian records of the time showed there was no sign of the Smith family disembarking.
Undeterred, we went back to the passenger list and noticed Mr. Smith's occupation, civil servant. If he worked for the civil service abroad, it was a good bet that it was for the Foreign Office.
We confirmed that an Arthur Smith had been posted to Fiji as a customs controller.
Unfortunately, that was the last record of Arthur Smith in the Foreign Office archive. We could only assume that after Fiji, he changed jobs or retired. The trail had gone cold again. Our last chance was to take an educated guess as to where Arthur and his family ended up. According to Foreign Office records, he'd gone to school in Bermuda. So maybe that's where Mr. and Mrs. Smith took Jeffrey and their other adopted son.
We searched for a Mr. and Mrs. Smith in Bermuda, and we found no record of an Arthur Smith. But we did, however, find this, a book published locally which contains a chapter about an Edith Irene Smith.
Crucially, the biography confirmed that she lived in Fiji with her husband, who worked for the Foreign Office. When we asked around, lots of people remembered Mrs. Smith on the island, but none of them had any contact details for Jeffrey.
We placed an advert in the main Bermudan newspaper, the Royal Gazette, asking if anyone knew anything more about the Smith family.
Then, we got a call from a woman who said her father, Robert, was Mr. and Mrs. Smith's son. Could Robert be the R. Welsh that Jeannie found on the shipping records? He agreed to meet me to discuss the case.
So we're looking for Mora Hall. Up here somewhere. This is it. Perfect. Thank you very much. Right. Hello, Robert. Sorry to disturb you on a busy
No.
working day.
No, just putting a few things away.
Nicky Campbell.
Pleased to meet you, Nick.
Thank you so much for seeing us.
Quite welcome.
So can we go and talk?
Sure, yeah, come right this
Brilliant.
way.
Better check I've got the right person here. It's Robert Smith, right?
Yeah.
And your parents were Edith Irene Smith
And Arthur Ritchie.
and Arthur Ritchie Smith.
Yeah.
Right. And your adopted brother?
Jeffrey.
Well, it's really good to see you.
Oh, glad to meet you.
I'm here on behalf of Jeannie Elgar. When Jeannie was 8 years old, she has this traumatic memory of her 4-year-old little brother being taken for adoption. And she's thought about him all her life. And she just wants to know what happened to Jeffrey.
Jeffrey passed away in 1979. He had a tragic boat accident. Powerboat racing.
How old was he when he died?
He would have been 34.
That's going to be devastating news
Yeah.
now for Jeannie.
Yeah,
Did he speak about her?
he spoke about her all the time. He told me that he had a sister that was 4 years older than him. And he actually used to go looking for his sister because he had a mental picture of her in his mind. And he swore he would recognize what she looked like. And if you know you have a sister out there, even though you've been adopted by a wonderful family that's taking care of you and, you know, taking care of all your needs and everything, you still have that desire to go and find your biological sister.
Despite his untimely death, Robert was keen to stress how happy Jeffrey's life had been. Born to a poverty-stricken mother from London, Jeffrey had been adopted by one of the wealthiest families in Bermuda. He was educated at an exclusive boarding school in England and went on to become a record producer.
That's Jeffrey. That's the way I remember him. Laid back and very happy.
Good 70s hair, that.
Yeah. Now, that's my mother and father, myself and Jeffrey in London.
Well, let's have a look at little curly-haired boy in these photographs, because he looks to be just about the same age. My goodness me, he's holding your father's hand in the same way that he's holding Jeannie's hand.
Left hand.
That picture there is not that long
No.
after that picture there
No,
with
very
Jeannie,
soon.
so very, very shortly after the adoption. I've got an 8-year-old. You know, if her little sister was taken away,
Yeah.
how it would impact on her
Oh, yeah.
for the rest
Yeah.
of her life. 2 walks in a park, 2 different families,
Yeah.
and one incredible story.
But he certainly had a good life. He had a wonderful life.
To know that he was happy and that he had a good life will mean so much to Jeannie.
Now she can put the questions aside and be happy for him. And I can't wait to meet Jeannie.
We've been searching for Jeannie Elgar's brother Geoffrey, who she last saw over 50 years ago. The only clue she had to his whereabouts was a passenger list showing he'd boarded a boat to Fiji in 1950. After an 8-month search, we tracked him down via Foreign Office records to the island of Bermuda, only to discover that Geoffrey died in 1979 in a tragic powerboat accident. I'm now on my way to see Jeannie.
Hi, can we go to Haymarket, please? Thank you.
Out of respect, we've already told her that her brother has died, without the cameras being there.
I'm hoping, because Jeannie's always had so many questions about Geoffrey and what happened to him, that by giving her some answers, I can also somehow offer her some comfort.
Hi.
Thank you.
Are you all right?
Yes, thank you.
So I just wanted to start off by saying I'm really, really sorry for your loss. How have you been feeling since we told you?
I was quite devastated to think that he'd been dead all those years. But now I know what happened, and I won't go to my grave wondering if he was all right and had a good life.
Well, he did have a good life.
Thank you.
Would you like to see some photos, and I can kind of explain a bit more
Yes.
via the photos? Are you ready to see the photos?
Get my glasses on.
Well, this first photograph is Geoffrey and Robert.
Oh, so he's still got his curly hair.
Yes. And I see an enormous resemblance to you, actually, in that picture.
Gosh. He looks as if he's got a gap in his teeth there. And my mother had that. Oh, they look very sweet, don't they, together? He looks very nice too, Robert.
They were very close.
It's good.
Well, this photograph might bring up some feelings. It must have been about the time that Geoffrey...
Yes. It is.
She does look like a nice lady, though, doesn't she? She's kind and smiling.
She does, yes, and he's holding his hand. So...
Does that mean a lot to you?
Yes. It means the world to me that, you know, it's... that he had, you know, good parents.
Robert and Geoffrey had a blissful childhood, so it was a really successful adoption.
It's lovely. Thank you. I don't expect you remember me.
Well, Robert told us that he never forgot you.
Really? Honestly? Sorry. That means so much. I can't tell you.
He never forgot. He never forgot.
Thank you.
Now, I've got a letter from Robert.
Oh. All right. Dear Jeannie, I hope that this letter finds you well. Jeff had such a vivid memory of you. He always said to me, I will know her when I see her. Jeff spoke of you often, and I also felt that my sister was missing. I would love to meet you. I have so many stories to tell you. You are always welcome at my home. I look forward to meeting you soon. Sincerely, Robert. Oh,
And
Robert.
there he is.
Oh, he looks really nice. I would like him to be my brother because he was so close to Geoffrey. So, kind of an adopted brother would be nice.
That was pretty traumatic for Jeannie, but I think the realisation that Geoffrey had never forgotten her and that he'd even searched for her just as she'd been searching for him, along with the fact that she'll be going to Bermuda, meeting Robert, learning all about Jeffrey, and then being able to say goodbye. All of those things, I think, may finally give her some kind of closure.
But before Jeannie goes to Bermuda to meet Robert, we start our second story here in the market town of Leighton Buzzard, with a woman who is haunted by a decision she made over 25 years ago. When she was 15, Kirsty West seemed like an ordinary teenager, but she was hiding a big secret.
After a couple of months, I knew something was going on. I think the first time I actually accepted that it was really happening was the first time I felt it move.
In the summer of 1984, Kirsty had a fling with a boy she'd met while on a family holiday. When she got back, they saw each other a few times, but it wasn't till after they split up that she realised she was pregnant.
I was terrified about being pregnant, really terrified. And I didn't want to talk about it to anybody.
Kirsty kept her pregnancy secret from everyone, including her parents.
I was about 14 then.
Her partner Andy was one of the few people who knew. At the time, they were good friends.
I don't know whether I was supposed to know or not, but yeah, I was aware of it, although I didn't really believe it because there weren't any physical signs. You wouldn't have known she was pregnant. Your sister's wedding photograph?
Yeah, that was 3 months before he was born, so I was 6 months pregnant there. You wouldn't know it. Nobody knew.
No. God, you look so young.
I'd got so used to holding it in, I would have been sucking my stomach right in there.
Yeah, you couldn't tell.
Walking around like that all the time.
Keeping it secret was one thing, but Kirsty was unable to come to terms with the pregnancy herself.
Although I'd sort of stand there and look at myself in the mirror and I'd feel all the kicks and everything happening, still kept saying to myself, it's okay, it'll go away, don't worry about it. I really convinced myself.
Kirsty remained in denial right up to the point when she went into labour.
So that's at tea time, and I felt a bit strange and went up to the bathroom and my waters broke. I just paced around all night in my room, sort of trying to get comfortable into a position where I wasn't in so much pain. It was a very, very long, lonely night. Spent on my own, scared stiff, not knowing what to do.
The truth finally came out the following morning when her mum called the doctor.
The doctor came out and confirmed to my mum what was happening. Of course, she immediately sort of started crying and why didn't you tell me and all this, you know, didn't you feel you could trust me? I suppose it was a very traumatic time for everybody.
It was only now, after months of secrecy, that 16-year-old Kirsty faced up to the most difficult decision of her life.
The actual decision I made in my head to have him adopted was while I was on the table giving birth to him. And I actually said to the nurses, don't let me see him. I'm not keeping him. I don't want to see him.
Kirsty gave birth to a healthy boy who was immediately taken away from her.
As they wheeled him out of the room, I caught a glimpse of him then. All I really saw was sort of like the top of his head. I felt that natural pull of, you know, Mum, he's my baby and I want him with me. But I felt that I was doing what was right for him and not thinking about what was right for me. You know, I believed I was doing the right thing for my baby.
Kirsty named her baby Stephen, and he spent 6 months with foster parents before finally being adopted.
This one was taken just after he was born in the hospital. This one was the day before his adoption took place. They're there and I can get them out when I'm on my own and have a little cry. But yeah, that's all I've got to remember him. My little man.
For the past 25 years, Kirsty has struggled with her decision. She's also been unable to have another child, despite years of trying.
I suppose I've tried not to let it show openly. Inside is where all the pain's happening.
She needs to know, did she do the right thing? And if that's all she finds out, if she was to be told that, yes, you did the right thing, that to Kirsty would mean everything.
Kirsty is desperate for answers, but despite years of searching, she's got nowhere. Like most adoptions, details of baby Stephen's new family were withheld from Kirsty, as was his new name. With nothing to go on, she's resorted to posting his details on message boards in the hope that someone might recognise him and put them in touch.
I would want to tell him that I love him very much, always have. It was never an issue at all. I didn't give him away because I didn't love him. I gave him away because I did love him, I suppose. That I did what I thought was right for him at the time, and I so hope that I was right.
It's like a dream for her. It's what she wants more than anything else in the world. And I feel that once she achieves that, she'll be able to move on and enjoy life a lot more.
It's not surprising that Kirsty's search for her son has been so difficult. Until relatively recently, it was almost impossible for birth parents to trace adopted children. Nikki Campbell takes up the story.
When children are adopted, they're effectively given a whole new identity. Not just a surname from their new parents, but almost always a new first name too. The record of baby Stephen's new first name is in the General Record Office, but because of the sensitive nature of adoption, access to the information is strictly controlled.
The only way we could help Kirsty was to work with a registered intermediary who's legally entitled to access adoption records. Once they discovered baby Stephen's new name, they could trace him. If successful, they would need his consent before passing on his details to us.
Then we had a call to say that Kirsty's son had been traced. He's living in Bedfordshire, not far from Kirsty, and his adoptive name is James Sorrentino. This one here, I think.
James was adopted by an Italian couple and grew up in the Bedford area, where he now works as a tree surgeon. He's agreed to meet me to find out more about his birth mother.
Not a day goes by when Kirsty doesn't think about James. But of course, what about his perspective? I wonder if he's ever thought about this at all, ever focused on his adoption, ever seen a photograph of her. And also, has he had the kind of upbringing that Kirsty so wanted him to have, the one that she couldn't give him? I wonder if he's in any way bitter about the fact he was given up for adoption. And of course, the big question, does he want to meet his birth mother?